Welcome to Late Night with Rosa, where we get down to the arts of the matter. My darlings y queridos, welcome y bienvenidos to Late Night with Rosa, getting down to the arts of the matter. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everyone's enjoyed their week. We had snow. I don't know what to think about that. So I'm gonna just leave it right there, but we had snow. I hope everyone's doing okay. I'm continuing to pray for your family, your loved ones, and everybody. This is actually part 2 of last week's episode, The Art of Non-Therapy Therapy. I hope those who did listen that you enjoyed it thoroughly, because I actually had a really good time making this episode. And if you haven't, you're welcome to go to the link in our bio, and it'll take you to all platforms like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You'll even check us out on YouTube and see it in person, right? Yeah, and enjoy it. And please let me know what you think. If you have any thoughts, any ideas, recommendations you want to add to the list and everything like that, you're welcome to do so. And a special thank you to my doll, my girl, Megan. Thank you so much for your time, for giving us your expertise as a therapist and being such an open book and really giving us some really great tips to help us during these times. It really meant the world to me, and I had a freaking blast. So I hope you guys enjoy this part 2. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. I think that this episode is really great. I think it's going to help a lot of people in different ways. And I really do look forward to hearing from a lot of you. And enjoy. Here is part 2 of The Art of Non-Therapy Therapy, follow-up with the therapist. My darling, mis queridos, welcome back. So right now I'm talking to Megan. And she is actually a fully licensed therapist, but I'll tell you how I know her. I've known Megan for a few years. I've been with Keisha since 2012. So since then, because you were there with Keisha before that. Mm-hmm. So me and Megan been working together for a while. And one of the things that I really love about Megan, and she's been like that since I met her, is, first of all, she's an amazing storyteller. This girl will tell you some stories, and it's like you'll literally be intrigued the whole time. Like, you're like, so that won't happen. Megan is also the one to give us, like, she'll tell you the shit you don't want to hear, but, like, you have to hear it. You know what I'm saying? But because she's a therapist, which is the basis of the episode, she kind of does that non-therapy therapy where you'll read your ass, but like you don't feel bad about it because like as a friend, she delivered it as a non-therapy therapist. And the reason you know this is because every time you tell a story, she is dead as asking a question. Which then in turn makes me answer shit. So then I'm like you get mad, but like you can't get mad because it's like the truth. Especially when it comes to like guy talk, when we're talking about like men and situations and shit, she'll ask questions that make you realize he ain't worth your time, but you didn't really want to know that yet. So, I thought Megan was the perfect person to have this conversation about non-therapy therapy. And so I also wanted to get another inside look on, therapists and how, honestly, how COVID is affecting you guys right now. And just get a deeper inside look on the life of a therapist and the art of managing real therapy and non-therapy therapy, and I kind of want to go over the shit you really can't say, but you want to tell them, but it's kind of to the betterment of the person receiving therapy. Mm-hmm. And I think her non-therapy therapy is like super effective. So I just want to get into that. I'm really curious about the art of managing real therapy life and non-therapy therapy life. So, well, first, I just want to know how you got into, what made you decide to study and become a therapist? What was the calling?
Um, well, I actually only got into it in 2012. I actually went back to school for it.
Okay.
Um, I was doing like sales stuff, which I just realized wasn't for me. And I actually was working for a vocational school where people got their associate's degrees in welding and construction, electrician.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was there, I'd have to go into high schools and talk about the school and try and recruit them. And one kid I remember came up to me and was like, listen, my parents really want me to go to your school, but I don't know if it's for me because I would rather get into solar. I was like, listen, if you want to get into solar, like that's your thing. Like you need to like go after it. My brother's in solar, blah blah blah. And then I realized I'm not a good salesperson because he
Yeah.
probably would have been the perfect person to sell the school to since his parents really wanted him to go there. But instead, I was helping him find his dreams and not caring about sales. And I realized that I wanted to go back to school to help people. And
Mm.
originally, I was going to do high school guidance counseling. And then I just really liked the whole aspect of mental health that I just went for it all.
Okay. And what were what were your biggest challenges getting there? Were there any point in time where you were like, maybe not, maybe consider something else, or what pushed you to continue to? Because I just feel like to become a therapist, there has to be some kind of calling because I feel like all day, every day, you're kind of hearing everything from all your clients. So I feel like I know that you don't get involved in a sense where it gets personal, but how do you manage that? Like,
It's definitely hard. Um, and like some of my clients I've had for 4 years at this point. So it's like hard for it not to be somewhat personal. Like there's no way that I can't completely keep my personal life hidden from them just because it's been 4 years. So like I kind of also base it on the client, like which ones, I feel like can know certain information
mm-hmm.
versus not know. And I've gotten better. I've been working in the field for 4 years with knowing and setting boundaries and trying not to share as much personal information or figure out how to get around it or like be very vague. But again, sometimes clients are just very like they want to know. Some clients come in and say, listen, I'm telling you all about my life. I need to know something about
Okay.
you.
And I guess it makes them more comfortable. Excuse me. They open up more.
Yes.
I guess it's more like a confidentiality building. Okay, that
Hmm.
makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so like I respect that and I get it, which is why sometimes for me I do like to share because also like a lot of people will feel like, well, you haven't walked in my shoes, so how can you help? And I haven't. No one has walked in anyone else's shoes, but I've experienced anxiety, depression, so like I can relate. So I do like to disclose certain things like that just to like, let them know like when I say I understand, I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then my other question was, what makes you go in every day? I know that you said the want to help people, but on your roughest day, what helps you go in other than the bills? Because we all, it's a
Oh,
job still, girl.
that is tough. Um, I think it's crazy. Tuesday I had a rough day, and then Wednesday morning I woke up and was like, I think I just need a mental health day, but um, I didn't take one. But
Mhm.
just like sometimes just like getting in the flow of things kind of helps. Focusing on other people's problems kind of helps you not worry about what's
You
going on. Yeah. So
that's
like So like for me, sometimes it's easier to just be like, all right, I gotta help all these people. Obviously, whatever I'm going through is still gonna be there at the end of the day. Um, but that does help. When we were in the office before we were quarantined, my
Mhm.
coworkers were also a big motivation on going to work every day and like just talking about, issues we were having with clients or whatever, just like being silly or whatever. Like that was a big motivator to go to work, is like who you work with.
Okay. Okay. When do you know it's time to see a therapist? To what, like, I feel like some people go through things for so long, but I feel like there's a certain point where it's like it's time.
I mean, for me, I would say it's time if what you're going through is impacting your everyday functioning. So if you're not showering, if you're calling out of work a lot because you can't get out of bed, if your anxiety is killing you, that it's impacting daily life. Also, I would say um, sometimes people feel like they can't go to their friends or family anymore. They've like feel like I'm burdening them. They don't want to hear it anymore. This is my problem, not theirs. They have their own problems. That's also a good time too, because honestly, like I always look at therapy. I have my own therapist.
Mhm.
I look at it like they're getting paid to listen to me talk. So I'm going to talk about whatever I want. Like with a friendship, when you like say to someone like, "Oh, how are you doing?" Or if you call a friend saying like, "Oh, I'm going through something," you almost feel like you have to ask like, "How are you doing?" With a therapist,
Mhm.
you don't have to ask. Like if someone doesn't ask me how I'm doing, that's okay. Like I'm not
Like you won't
important.
take that personal because you
Yeah,
know why they're there.
exactly. Like they're not there for me or how I'm doing. I sometimes actually get uncomfortable and they're like, "Well, how are you?" It's like if I'm not doing good, then I still say like, "Oh, I'm good."
Yeah, because it's kind of like, right? Doesn't that feel weird? Like you are having a rough day because you're human. It happens.
Mhm.
And then they do, and like I feel like they're genuinely asking. But my thing is like that's why I feel like there's an art to that, because you have to have a balance. Like, what if you are having a rough day? Like sometimes I'm having a rough day. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be bothered by nobody. But you have to literally talk to people all day.
Yes. There have been times like for a little period of time,
Hmm.
I would like try to hold back emotions in between clients, but like there are like you said, we're human. We pick up on vibes. Like there would definitely be clients I would be like, something's going on. And I'd
Hmm.
be like, no, it's okay, it's fine. And they'd like eventually just like pull it out of me. And I'm like, this isn't your therapy set. This is mine. This is your therapy session. Like,
Yeah.
and they're like, but you're a human, you're going through something, you clearly need to get it off your chest. And I'm like,
Yeah. And
so like
it,
it happens.
if the partnership is gonna mesh well.
Like it's harder, obviously it's harder for clients to be like, this isn't working. I think I need a different therapist, because they don't want, one, no one wants that kind of awkwardness. Two, they don't want someone to take it personally. And I'm not gonna lie, you do take it personally. Like I can't sit here and say like, well, I would take it personally. It's happened, and I do.
Hmm.
But like I have to put it in perspective that like they need someone that's going to get them through what they're going through. And clearly, whatever connection we have has nothing to do with me as a person or therapist. Like they just are not clicking and would be better off with someone else. So like most clients I would guess would feel that way. Like if sessions are like, if I'm pulling teeth to get things out of people. Like if they're like really resistant to opening up, like that's when it's kind of like, all right, what's going on? Do we need to transfer therapists? Like, how do we jumpstart why you're here?
Right. If I were to look for a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
I really want to get somebody I feel like will get me.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing is, what if in my head I'm like, this is a great match. I want to come back to her. But what if you feel there's a lack of connection? Has that ever happened? Like,
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever felt there's no connection. Sometimes I feel like um the I would say sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not a good fit, maybe because I don't like have as much experience in like trauma, and maybe someone needs like
okay.
a ton of trauma therapy. Like I had a client who came back to our clinic and couldn't be seen by her previous therapist, so she was given to me, and that was did not click because this client had like her previous therapist and how that therapist was like, not that she expected me to be the same way, but it just didn't click because, like she had a different therapist. It was a different style.
Like you said, maybe you haven't dealt with that particular situation as frequently. So it would be like a disservice in a sense, because
Yes.
you would want to kind of get there, help her progress in whatever journey. But how if you haven't really explored that journey enough to guide in that sense?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So
Okay.
there are
And it
definitely circumstances where, like, if someone needs a higher level of care, or I can't,
mhm.
and ethically, like, if I feel like I'm not competent in it, like,
Yeah,
I shouldn't be seeing the person anyway.
got it. Okay. And I think it's great to have enough knowledge of not just therapy but of self, to be like, maybe she needs a different therapist, or can we refer her to someone. Like, I think it takes a lot for someone to do that, period.
Mm-hmm.
um to because it's also saying, we don't fit, you know what I'm saying? It's not saying that you're not adequate, it's just we don't fit. And I think it's actually commendable, I think, to be able to say that, because you want to be able to give that person the best service. But the only reason I'm saying that is because from the outside looking in,
Yeah.
uh I feel like those are some of the concerns that people may have, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably thinking of the expense and things like that, but I just feel like when it's time, and it's time, I think health above everything. Because look at the situation we are now. We're obviously going through COVID. We're obviously going through this situation. And what's the most important thing right now? Your health. But what's one of the most important things that people are not paying attention to right now is your mental state. And that's why I wanted to get into that. You know what I mean? We'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about that in a little bit, but I just wanted to ask those questions because I just feel like, just because we in our communities, or maybe in general, people don't really put therapy on out there like that, like it's more like a low key help kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want people to know that with the proper help, if you ask for it, if even if somebody goes with you or something, that help is available.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to assume that they just won't get it, because if they don't get it the way you think, it's easy to refer you to someone who may, or continue the process in searching. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there's an end goal here.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely think, I would say probably people like just getting into therapy, is that it's hard to find a good, not a good therapist, but a good connection to share. So like, I feel like sometimes people get very discouraged. Like, I met someone, it didn't go well. Like, that's how therapy is. I'm never going to try therapy again.
Mm-hmm.
With your therapist, it's almost like a relationship. It is a relationship, but it's almost like a relationship, like with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever. Like, if it's not working, you don't. I mean, some people do force themselves through it,
Mm-hmm.
um, but you shouldn't force yourself through it. This is someone that you're opening up to. You're sharing like deep thoughts and secrets about your life, and you just don't want to share it with anybody. You definitely have to feel comfortable with who you're sharing it with.
Of course. I notice when I talk to you, when we're having our little non-therapy conversations, you still try to guide me to an answer. Now, my thing is this: do you guys do that because you kind of have an answer, or do you do that because you want us to kind of help ourselves get to an answer? But I low-key feel like you know something.
Sometimes, for the most part, I know something and I just
Okay.
can't say it.
Hmm.
Not that I can't say it, but like,
Hmm.
my role is to like guide people,
Hmm.
to shouldn't tell people what to do. However, clients that I've been with for many years, like, they know my stance on like their relationship with their boyfriend. Like, they know
Okay.
I think it's unhealthy. I may
Hmm.
start the session like, but do you think this is a healthy relationship? Like, let's
Okay.
define. And then at the end, I'm like, come on, you know, this isn't
Okay.
healthy.
Okay.
But
Okay. No, because I'm just like so curious. I'm like, so sometimes I'm telling you, even when we're having casual conversations, I'm like, she knows something. She knows something. What do you know? I just tell me. Stop trying to guide me, girl. I need to get there right now.
okay, future reference. I'll tell you where to go.
But like, Belinda, I do know. Do you want to know or do you want me to guide you there? Which one?
I'll ask.
Cause yo, Megan be knowing, yo, she just be knowing. And I be wanting to know what she know. Like, is it the years of knowledge that you have that kind of guide you to certain answers or certain questions that lead to these awakenings?
Kind of. I would say it's like a mixture of both. I would say like even right before they had it, I had probably had it. Like I'm like, oh my god, like this is where I'm gonna go with this. One of my favorite things though is when people are like, oh my god, I never thought of it that way, and I'm like, yeah,
Is that like
see?
a low key like a work? I call that the work high. Is that like your work high?
Yes, and for me, that's when I'm like, oh my god, like I need to celebrate in my head, like we got
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. Because
But
it's great for her, but it's amazing for you because I feel like you low key had a goal in your mind was to get them there. But you want to get them there, like you want them to do it individually. You don't want to guide them so much. Like you know where you want them to go, but you're like leaving tracks.
yeah, because
But I
also
don't
like,
like I don't want to make it sound like you're like here, like chase like a little mouse, but I'm saying like,
well, it's
you
important
know,
for like people to come up with it themselves because then, I mean, we
well,
all
I feel
know,
if
like
it was me, if you did that to me, I would feel empowered.
exactly,
Like I would
exactly.
be like,
You feel like
ah,
yeah, you came up with it on your own. I'm not telling you what to do because at the end of the day, if someone tells you what to do, whether it's your therapist, your mom, your boyfriend, whoever, if you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it.
right,
But if you can be like, wow, this situation I'm in isn't good on your own, you might be more likely to be like, I shouldn't change this situation. What
right,
can I do to help myself?
right. Because if they were able to get themselves to a particular answer, they'll be able to do it again.
Exactly.
Okay. Is there ever been a time where you have had to give advice that was against your beliefs and your like values and things like that?
I wouldn't say I've had to give advice, but there are definitely times where I didn't agree with what clients were talking about and I definitely had to say something.
Okay.
Um so I say it in like a
Okay.
somewhat, I'm not like being mean, but
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um there are some clients that are set in their ways, whether it be with race or religion or whatever, and um some people think like because I'm white and they're white, like they think like, oh, it's cool, like she gets it, like I can be racist, and I'm just like,
Oh my God. How does that work?
ooh, it's
Cause
hard.
I know for a fact you're not. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard. It's really hard because um I know, like, if I feel like I'm reaching a point, I'll step in and say something and just be like, but a lot of times I'll just try to ask questions like, well, do you have proof that it's everybody? Like, you can't tell me that you haven't had one good experience with this particular group of people, or like it's not everyone that you experience, like, and there has definitely been like one specific time where I actually had to say something because I just couldn't take it anymore.
Mm.
Um, I mean, and he's still comfortable talking to me, so I didn't like completely scare him off as not wanting to be my client anymore, but
Yeah.
I definitely felt better about saying something.
My question is then, have you ever been in a position where you were like, all right, you've gone too far. We might have to cut. And it's not even a vibes thing anymore. It's just it got to a point where you can no longer provide services because of we don't have to elaborate, but have you
I
ever
I have luckily never had to cut someone off.
okay.
Like I said, I generally it's hard because I want them to be who they are, and if I don't agree, it's like really hard to just sit there and like let people go on and on and on. But I've never had to like discontinue with a client because of their views. Um, like I said, I will say things like one client is a big Trump lover, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, so most of my clients are on Medicaid, so I will ask, like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you know, aren't you a little nervous about your health care because some of the services that are going to get cut funding are going to be Medicare and Medicaid? And she just says, well, he knows which freeloaders to get rid of. And I'm like, I don't think there's some list of who's freeloading and who's not. Like the
Yeah.
whole group of people as a whole get
Yeah. Yeah. Like he's not gonna save you because you
you're
know.
not a freeloading person
Yeah.
on
Like no.
Medicaid. Like you're on Medicaid. That's all he cares about. He wants to cut
Yeah.
money.
I
You're getting
wouldn't
cut.
listen. You know what? I wouldn't even get too comfortable. The dude just said we could drink Lysol.
Hey,
Like,
you're being sarcastic. Like, come on.
you know what I mean? Like, this is the person you're a freeloader. All right, freeloader. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I have never had to cut
I
anybody
bet
off.
how much want to bet she actually tried that shit too.
Well, funny thing is, now she's semi towing on the other side because be lenient with the COVID-19 restrictions. You know, he wants like opening businesses up, and she completely disagrees with that. Like, she's like, we need to stay on lockdown longer. And she's like, I can't believe he's okay with this. So she may be going back, she may be flip flopping. I don't
Listen,
know.
and this first of all, what the hell are you doing outside protesting? And
I
this
agree.
and like okay, so I on my page I had posted that thing where it was like, since you want to be a protester, if you end up getting sick, go to the hospital. This
Yeah,
or no,
yeah,
I know that shit's not legit. It's not.
but that would be
You know,
nice.
when
I
it
mean,
comes to rights, technically it's not gonna happen. But it was just the thought of it, because you guys are talking hella shit, and you be the same ones that end up coughing and shit in the fucking ER. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, you could be home staying safe. You guys are being dumbasses protesting, and then the next day or week or whatever, you're in the ER. Not now you feel
mhm.
like a dick. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because for what? I listen. I understand the shit is tough right now. I know the stuff is tough. I know that financially it is a huge burden for a lot of people. But there comes a point where you have to think, what's more important, your
Mhm.
life or a couple dollars? I know this shit is tough, but and I'm not saying it's gonna be easy getting back, which is exactly why I thought therapy was a perfect episode, because I think, you know, speaking to my friend as a not as therapy, but also speaking to a therapist about getting fucking help. Because let me tell you something, I know that it's gonna be a hard situation for people to jump up back from, but this shit is gonna affect so many people in some one way or the other. And the biggest problem, and I'm not gonna get into politics too much because it's not really not my thing, but and I'm gonna end it right there. My biggest issue is that motherfucker has no sense of like bedside manner. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Any other president, I don't care. I'm pretty sure they would have given some kind of supportive speech, some kind of something. I don't know. He doesn't emphasize the importance of masks. He'll mention stupid shit like drink Lysol and bullshit. Like, and all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I don't even want to talk politics or financial or nothing. All I'm saying is he has yet to sit down and have a humble conversation, because what people are forgetting is, as hard as this is financially and everything, is going to be hard to mentally jump back. Everything's going to change, Megan. When we go back to work, well, when things go back to the get so whatever normal,
Mhm.
is not going to be the same. So I just feel like people need to like really kind of start.
Yeah, that's true. I think like that's something that also isn't talked about. Like everyone's so quick to be like, let's go back to work. Well, not everybody, but like the protesters
Right,
specifically.
right, right.
And you're right, no one's thinking about like how it's going to impact like workers of some of these places. Like some places, even if they're allowed to open, aren't, because they're like, listen, we don't feel we're ready. I mean, I can't imagine going to TJ Maxx in the month when everything's open. Like they're just like probably gonna let people in like they are now, like 10 at a time.
Yeah. I went
Um,
to the freaking bodega this morning. It's like a mini supermarket. Like it's like a upgraded bodega. I don't know. But anyway, it's like the neighborhood one. And I went and they don't, you know, they're being very serious about it. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, guys, this is not just a financial shift, you know, an economic shift, a health shift. This is a mental fucking shift. Stop playing. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, and if you don't do some kind of meditate, some kind of meditating, some kind of something to keep your mental right, you're not gonna be ready when they say, okay, doors are open, go out.
Mhm.
Listen, I was in my house for a month. I didn't go out, Megan, right? Just the energy is different, the vibes are different, things are different.
Mhm.
And you have to be able to kind of adjust to that shit. You know, stop thinking. People out here thinking they tough. All you worried about is what's gonna happen financially. Okay, okay, all right. Keep thinking. So you guys want to go take a bus to XYZ.
Mhm.
I just heard the other day that the fucking germs last in a bus for 3 days,
Wow. Okay.
and in the subway 3 days, and you want to start making trips to go to work? Ven acá.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. um, I want to get into a fun topic.
Okay.
First, I want to know, do you get a lot of relationship conversation? Like, are a lot of your, how do I get that into not getting, without getting into confidentiality? Do a lot of your sessions involve relationship issues? Do you deal with a lot of relationship situations? Like, is that high on the list?
For me, it is like when I first started, like I didn't like develop a specialty or anything like that. I was kind of like thrown into it, and I started seeing adults, kids, old people. Um, but I do find myself having more clients with relationship issues. So I do tend at this point to enjoy working with them. So I try to like I'm also on, so besides working in the clinic, I recently became a therapist on Talkspace, the online platform.
Okay.
So Talkspace, if you haven't seen the commercials, it's all online, so you can do text only. You can sign up to do text and also receive like a video call a week or a phone call a week, or you could do like a video package only. You can still text with the video package only, but like most of the sessions will be in video format. And with the texting, the clients basically like have a chat room. They each get their own chat room, and it's available to them 24/7, which is a little stressful.
Mm.
um but I've set boundaries very quickly, because some, that I tell them this room is available to you 24/7. So if you have a thought, like, come in here, write it down. I may not be there to respond right away, or write it down, because like in that respect it does help. But sometimes people think like they have their therapist like a friend, like, hey,
Right. And they could like hit you up whenever. And it's like,
yes.
got it. Okay. Um, girl, where was so when it comes to relationships, can I is that what are the main issues? And I did want to ask you if you have gotten more patients now with COVID, and are they relationship based? Because I feel like everyone's like, I know that being around the same person, even if you love them to death for a long period of time, on and on and on, obviously you're gonna get annoyed. It's normal.
Mhm.
But I'm talking about like beyond, like a little bit above normal, like where people start questioning, like, me quedo, me voy, like, do I stay, do I go, like,
um, yes.
okay.
Um, I definitely feel like the clients
Hmm.
have clients definitely are struggling with their kids being home 24/7, with their significant others being cooped up in the house. It's not even like people are just like working from home. Like you
Hmm.
can't go anywhere. There's nothing to do. Um, I have had some clients who are like, I don't know if I could do this. Um, they are also like, I'm obviously they're not going to make impulsive decisions because we all know that this is hopefully temporary. Um, but yeah, it's definitely taking a toll on people. Because as I mean, in any relationship, like it's shared. So your mental health is shared. So if like your partner's depressed, you kind of take it on. And now no one has anywhere to self
Kind of like go at
care.
least to like get some space and breathe.
Yeah. Like no one
Okay.
has anywhere to like you can't even like go to your friend's house and be
Right,
like,
right, 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 right.
hey, can I come over? Like
Okay.
I just
And
need a
when,
break.
yeah, how comfortable are you and or your clients talking about sex? Like, do you ask, like, what if the topic hasn't really come up with you guys? Do you it like do you initiate?
Okay, so if it hasn't come up, I will initiate because it is important to know like what's going on. But generally speaking, the clients that I currently see have no problem bringing it up. Like I sometimes know way too much about.
Mm. What's like the craziest thing you've heard? Well, without obviously breaking confidentiality, we could, it doesn't have to be specific, but like,
Well, just like 2 days ago, one of my clients was talking to me about how he gets super jealous with his girlfriend,
hmm,
which we're working on.
okay.
Um, him and his girlfriend are currently living with a friend, and they all share the same bed, which I knew about, which was weird. I'm like, doesn't he have a couch people can like sleep on somewhere?
Oh, we about to get into this. Okay.
And then he told me on Wednesday that they have threesomes. And I'm like,
But like
but
this is not new. Like they've been
yes, but it's new to me. I just found out. So I was like, um,
that's why they're in bed together.
so
Because they be in bed together.
it was like a Willy Wonka thing where all the grandparents slept in bed at the same time. Like I just thought
Yeah.
they like just slept.
So okay, so it's obviously it's two chicks, one dude.
No.
They be running train. Yo. It
So
just
my
got
question
real.
to him
It
was,
just got real. I
it's
thought I thought it was like two chicks and a dude, and he.
nope, two dudes and a girl.
Okay.
And he
Oh, okay.
my
Late night.
client my client's doing it because it's his girlfriend's fantasy. And my thing to him was, you're super anxious about her cheating on you. So how are you okay?
With another dick in the mouth.
Yes. Well, apparently there's like rules in place, but
What? Only dick in the mouth when he says okay?
yeah.
I'm being disrespectful. I'm sorry.
No, but like that's
That's literally
just
what it is. How
yeah.
long have they been like?
I,
Oh
he's
no,
only
no, don't wait. Well, Megan, you let me know.
they he's been staying with his friend for like 2 to 3 weeks. So
Oh, so this is not so okay, cause I thought it was like it has been happening for months.
I mean, for all I know,
Oh,
it
for all
might have
you know, okay.
but he's been consistently staying there for 2 to 3 weeks. I know like he had multiple places that they were staying. I just was like really thrown off about the whole like I'm afraid that like I don't want her to cheat on me, and I'm like, but like you're okay.
But I feel okay, low key. Okay, talking about threesomes, right?
Yeah,
Would you ever
absolutely.
bring that into a relationship?
For me, no. If other people are cool with it, that's on them. But like for me, no, I can't do it.
I feel like if you're bringing in a threesome, this should have been one of the layers to Linda questions. Let's talk about it, Megan, since we talking, right?
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
feel like to bring in a threesome in a relationship, first of all, your relationship needs to be super fucking solid, because I
Yes.
do think that if you're bringing someone else, like if you want to get curious, like if you want to go ahead and buy yourself a wig, some role play, something like watch a porn together. I don't know. That's spice things up, okay? You know what I'm saying? But when you start bringing people in, I feel like one, you guys maybe are just really open. That's cool. But two, maybe you lacking something.
Mhm.
My issue with that is I feel like there needs to be a serious amount of rules, and I don't know how effective it is to have a threesome with the same person. However, I don't know how safe it is to just be, because the thing is, what if they do it one time and they're like, yo, that shit was fire, like
Yeah.
let me do it again. But then my thing is, are you gonna, like, now I feel like by doing it again and again and again with the same person, you're kind of building a connection. And I feel like either or person that invited the third, one of them or both of them is gonna get connected on another level. So I feel like you're bringing problems. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I completely
If
agree.
if it was just like a one time and it's like it's a crazy night and we want to have a good time and this is what we're doing, whatever you do is your business. I'm just saying, looking at the distance, running the distance, is that something you want to bring into the relationship? Because and this is the thing too, like, especially if you've been together for like a really, really long time, Megan, think about it. Like if you've been with somebody for a dumbass long time, like a 10 years, and you bring something new
Mhm.
and one of them ends up really liking it. And I don't want nobody coming to me thinking, oh, it's a confidence, you ain't confident. It's not about that.
Mhm.
Sex is a very intimate thing. It is very intimate. It's very deep. I don't care if it's a one-time thing. It's an intimate thing to do. And if you kind of, dabble a number of times, like, you can't tell me someone's not gonna, I'm just saying someone's gonna catch feelings. I feel like you're bringing the end. You're low key, like you're starting the process.
Yeah, I
And
definitely agree. I feel like at some point, um, someone somehow is going to cross the line, whether it be intentional or accidental. Like there, it's just. But I mean, I guess look at
I
like
think,
Sister Wives. I guess they figured it out, right? I don't
I
know,
mean, they figured it out. Listen, all
but
I'm
they're both
saying
not
is,
in the same bed together. They don't know. Like he goes to the one
but that's
house.
intimate too, though. Think about it. We're
Yeah,
sleeping. Like if it was, look, I'm not saying that people out here need to be a bird. I'm just saying, but birds stop and fly away, stop and fly away, right?
yeah,
What you building a nest for, bro?
yeah.
What you
I agree.
building the nest for? You listen, and this is the thing. I don't know, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form a therapist, but speaking from like outside looking in, somebody gonna get caught up.
And that's what I said to him. I was like, listen, are you okay cutting it off if you feel you can't handle it? And he's like, I can cut it off if I can't handle it. And I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure that you're happy and that you
Yeah,
know
he
you
could
can
cut it
cut it
off.
off.
He could cut it off.
Yeah, exactly.
But we can't say that everybody cut it off.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
look, I'm not in any way, shape, way or form saying that whoever these people are may make questionable decisions. I'm just saying, by bringing a third, you're bringing too much.
Hmm.
And if bringing an extra, if that's the game, then there just has to be some serious rules. And I would love to get into this. So guys, send me, if you have ever had a threesome, ever, and you did it while being in a relationship. I'm not talking about that bullshit you do because y'all was drinking. No, no, no. I'm talking about you got a man or a girl and you bought a third. Have you ever done that, and how has that worked out for you? I want to know. And what were the rules? What were your rules? Non-therapy therapy. What are your thoughts? A man wanting to watch his girl get smashed by another dude.
Um, I don't get it. Again, I don't get it. For me, I would really want to know like what happened in this person's life to
Mm.
make them come to a point where they're like, this is what turns me on. I like watching some other dude bang my girlfriend or wife or whatever. Like, I don't know. For me, I
I
just,
mean, it's really popular. You know what I mean? I'm
yeah.
not gonna sit there and be like, oh, it's weird, it's cliche. Like it's popular, but I'm just curious as to like how does that conversation start? How does he go? Cause I'm pretty sure the woman may come to him and be like, I wanna smash XYZ and I want you to watch. And to please her, he'll do it. But my thing is, how do you get turned on by it to the point where now you're pleasuring yourself based on the fact that someone else is smashing your girl?
I don't know. I
I'm
don't know. Not,
curious.
I honestly should study these people.
If you're watching and you
What turns you on about it?
what if you're watching and you are currently in a relationship or you were in one or you were dating a girl, whatever the case, if you were involved with somebody, have you ever asked her to do this whole cockhold or BBC wife sharing, or have you ever done that? So now we're going to get into kind of like non-therapy
Hmm.
and how do you balance therapy life and kind of just having your personal life eat like because I think like naturally you're going to use the techniques that you've learned because it's just natural to you.
Hmm.
But do you ever, as a therapist, do you ever feel like people keep coming to you all the time and you're just like, I like have you ever felt like telling whoever's talking to you about something like, yo, you need to see a therapist? Have you ever looked at one of your friends and family members like, yo, you need to see a therapist, like dead ass?
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely do feel like sometimes there's like a sign on my forehead because like people in stores, like cashiers, will just start like telling me things, and I'm like, I didn't even ask, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
okay. Um, but yeah, there are definitely times where I'm like, where it's a lot. And also it is very hard because I try to toe the line between like I want to help you because I'm a therapist, but I'm your friend. So like I am very aware of it. So I try to be like put more of a friend hat on. But it's
Hmm.
hard. It's hard not to.
It's hard
Like,
not to. Is it okay? My question is, have you ever gotten into a situation where you want to tell them what you're really thinking, like non-therapy therapy, but you know it might not sit well, but you feel like they need to know?
yeah. Like friends or clients or both.
No, I'm talking family,
Oh yeah,
friends,
for
all
sure.
that.
For
Hmm.
sure. And like obviously with some friends, I know they can handle it. Some can't. So no, I wouldn't if I knew a friend couldn't handle it, I'd probably just keep listening. And probably tell them like maybe you should go see somebody.
Okay.
Um, you know, it, it and I would say it's not even like I reach a point where I don't want to hear it anymore. It's just like I want to help, but I know I'm not going to be able to because the relationship, if I try to help, like, I don't know, like a friend might be like, you don't get it, you're against
Mm.
me. Um,
Because I think you want to be able to tell them as a therapist the honest dead ass how you would approach any other client,
mhm,
but maybe they won't receive it well because you know them personally. So that, yeah, you don't really get it. You're not really on my side. When in reality, no, I'm really just trying to tell you what, as a non-therapy therapy, I'm trying to tell you something, girl. Like,
exactly. Like, it's definitely hard. Like, I definitely have friends who some don't want to bother me. And I'm like, listen, you can always talk to me. But I definitely think that I am more aware of what I say and how I say it to people, because I definitely do feel like they're just gonna be like, like, you don't get, like we said, you don't get it, you're against me, like, you're taking his side, or whatever the issue is.
Okay.
And then, like, even just saying to someone, like, maybe you should see a therapist, like, people feel some type of way about that. Like, oh, what are you saying? I'm crazy? Like, no, you're not
See, that's
crazy,
that
but
shit. That's that stigma I be talking about.
hmm
I
like,
don't
no,
think seeing a therapist means you're crazy. I don't
absolutely
think
not.
so. I think sometimes we need a little help getting to certain answers. And I
Hmm.
feel like sometimes if you get like, it's like, that thing they say, like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't teach him how to fit. It's the same thing. You could give me the answer, but my thing is the same want that you have, or the same need that you have to make me want to understand or to get there, is like, if
Hmm.
you gave me an easy answer, I'm gonna still break it to understand the details within the answer. So in my
Yeah.
head, I'm like, let me just follow through, because you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like sometimes when answers are too easy, you're not really getting anything because you didn't understand the journey that it took to get to the answer.
Hmm. Hmm. I agree. Yeah.
And I feel like it's not going to be effective in the long run. Um,
I definitely feel like, and even sometimes, like, with the friend thing, like, if I'm friends with, like, the same group of people, or if I'm friends with the husband and wife or the boyfriend and girlfriend, it even makes it trickier,
mhm.
because I'm trying to, like, sometimes I'm getting it from both. So I'm trying to, like, keep secrets, and it just, like, I just,
It's just a lot
it
sometimes.
is, it is. And I'm just like, sometimes, like, go find your own therapist. And
And just leave that over there. I think
yeah.
I think it's important to sometimes, like, I guess with certain people, I guess, to
Hmm.
keep your therapy and your non-therapy to yourself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think because again, like, I love to listen to my family and friends and stuff like that, but I feel like sometimes, um no matter what you say, they're gonna want to believe and hear what they want, simply
Oh, for
because they want
sure.
whatever outcome they want.
Hmm.
Um and as hard as sometimes, it's really hard to let go, Megan. Like, you know how you really, really want to help somebody sometime, like you really want to go out of your way and save and help. And sometimes you kind of gotta let people help themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. People got
Um
to hit their own rock bottom.
yeah, yeah, they're on rock bottom, but like, that's a challenge, Megan, to like, especially somebody that you really, really love and care about, like family and friends. That's a hard one to like
Mhm.
let go and let them figure it out, because you want to help them so bad, and it becomes a really big challenge. And I think that's also something that people deal with on a regular too, knowing when it's time to let go,
Mhm. Yeah.
you
For
know.
sure. And I definitely have had experiences with friends that I um I knew things that they didn't know I knew, just because I have eyes.
Hmm.
But and I didn't ever want to approach it, because then it becomes like a bigger issue. And for me, it's almost like I'd rather just, like, watch from afar and make sure things are still, like, their
Okay.
surrounding life is okay and nothing
Right.
has hit the fan, and
Right.
let them kind of, like, do their thing. But
Right.
I know if I approach it, it's not going to be helpful, because they're just going to be like, you're accusing me, it's not really happening. Whereas if it's a client, like, if a client came in and they were obviously, like, using something, I could be like, I know you're using, and, like, they expect that I'm going to be able to read that.
Right. So they won't take it so personal.
Exactly.
But the problem with friends or family is that by you saying it, it's almost like, so what are you saying? Oh, so you're a
Exactly.
therapist, so now all of a sudden you know shit, but you don't really know shit.
Exactly. Yes.
Right,
There
right,
you
right, right. You ain't my therapist.
go. Well, get
Mm.
your own. Don't come to me anymore.
Okay, then don't you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. Like, sometimes you just gotta let people, as hard as it is, sometimes you have to learn to let go only because said person and or situation may kind of drag you down with it. and and correct me or verbally say it differently in your non-therapy, but I think that sometimes, although letting go is really scary and it's really comfortable, all even the situation is not great, if the situation is comfortable although not great, you may not get away from it, whether it's a person or a situation, because of comfortability. But at the end of the day, um I feel like if you don't learn to let it go, I feel like you're letting your life go.
Mhm.
And you may go through a lot of shit. You may go through so much shit. Letting go of whatever this is going to be hard. But what's worse is not letting go and failing anyway.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to fail by moving forward because you're still going to get somewhere anyway, then not do anything,
Mhm.
not get anywhere, and fail probably even worse? So I think in general, with people, anybody, whoever it is, I think that that's a big one. And that's kind of what validates therapy to me. Because I feel like in order to let go, you have to process things. You
Mhm.
have to go through difficult shit to give you a wake up call. Um, but I think sometimes people are just so caught up in this world that they're just not gonna,
Oh, for sure.
you know. And
For
it's
sure. And
tough. It's
some
tough.
people know it's there and don't want to face it.
Why? Why do you think that is?
Kind of like what you said.
Mm.
It's once you bring it up, it's hard. Like my one client, I've had her for 4 years. I know something traumatic happened. She's tiptoed around it. I've put the pieces together. Has yet to say the words.
Mm.
And she says that she tries not to think about it because then she starts having all the memories. So, but you know, unfortunately, you have to live through those memories in order to,
Process it.
yeah. So, like, kind of like what you said, like, you do have to process whether it be something, little or big.
Yeah, I just think sometimes we need a everybody needs a humble your ass down moment. Everybody needs a check your shit, check yourself,
Hmm.
dick. But I honestly think it's tough because, like, for example, I know it's really weird, but like I love reading certain books and sometimes I won't read them because I feel like these books are gonna lead me to certain things I may not want to deal with.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I love guidance books and books on different like books that are make me more aware.
Hmm.
What aware of self, aware of everything, and like I just like learning. I like to learn a lot of different things,
Hmm.
and a lot of the things that I like to learn on my own requires me learning about me. So
Hmm.
sometimes I'll procrastinate on whatever project I just gave myself because I'm like, girl, I don't want to go there yet. You know what I mean? Because you gotta face the music.
Because once you go there, it's hard to get back.
You gotta deal with it.
Hmm.
But I think sometimes things get to a point where you have to face it. You have to face it, but you have to face it in the most effective way for you and whoever else.
Hmm.
But I think it takes a while to get there.
Hmm.
That comfortability and all that shit. We're gonna get into another part of this conversation. And
Okay.
it's quick, but it was basically the shit that you really want to say, but you really can't say. So how about I say them?
Okay.
And should you feel some kind of way, you can elaborate. If not, we keep it moving.
Okay.
One, and if you come up with any, feel free. And to all my therapists, if you're listening, if you have any more, let me know. because I'll do a whole follow-up episode on this whole thing. I don't mind. So if you have anything you need to share to your future or present clients and you really don't want to say it, but you really want to say it, let me know. But one of the ones that I did, because I kind of read it a little bit. One of the ones was that, but I think you said that it was like your therapists are not here to give you advice, but to help guide you to your answers. But I think people forget that. I think some of them go to a therapist with the expectation that you're just going to tell them, this was wrong with you. I go fix it.
Yes. Oh God, yes.
How does that feel when they come at you like that? Or with that kind of energy?
It feels like, not that there's a lot of pressure, because I know I'm not a miracle worker. But I guess there's a little bit of a pressure because they're coming here with this anticipation that even if they discuss all their traumas and they're like, okay, now what? It's like, okay, well, this could take a while. Like, I'm just not going to be able to be like, yeah, like, then I wouldn't have a job. So yeah,
it's a process. Like,
yeah.
Because my thing is, what if you said like, yo, you're an asshole? Okay. No, like we gotta process why the fuck you're an asshole.
Yeah, like what happened,
and then how you don't need to be an asshole. I'm not gonna tell you that because I don't know what makes you an asshole. Exactly. Like you might know that you're an asshole. You know what I mean? But we may not know the details as to why you're an asshole.
And some people may not even be ready to change their assholiness. So even if they come in saying I'm an asshole and I need to get fixed, and I tell them how to fix it, they still might be like, nope.
So if you don't want to if they don't want to stop being an asshole, do you just continue to let them be an asshole, or do you try to kind of go around the I still want to be an asshole attitude? Like, do you go around it? Like, if they're like, no, I'm not gonna change it, you'd be like, I got you. I'm gonna tell you something else.
Yeah, I'd probably go around it, and then depending on how long it took, then I'd probably be like, they would probably stop coming. I wouldn't have to end the relationship. They'd probably be like, I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah, like she just told me that I'm an asshole, but I already know that. So what are we doing?
The biggest thing, if we're going to talk about people that expect things to get fixed, is parents that come with kids.
Talk about it.
Parents with kids always think like, all right, my kid's acting up at home. I'm going to bring them to therapy. They're going to work on their anger. There's only so much I can do once a week in my office for like 45 minutes with a child, because I can get them to act on point in my office. But if the work by the parent is not being done at home, nothing's going to change. And parents,
so how are they not on point at the office? Like, how are they not? Like, what makes them not on point?
So like I've had kids where if they weren't getting their way, they would throw tantrums. So like for some kids, I'd have to write like office rules, like, you know, rule number 1, like don't touch anything on the desk, blah, 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 go down the list. I have another girl that I see that loves to make slime, and she would like spend every session making slime, and I'd be like, listen, like we got to really like figure out why you don't like whatever. So like the office rule was that the last 15 minutes, like if she could get through 30 minutes of talking to me about everything going on, the last 15 she could do slime or whatever. So like things like that. And like even like cleanup time or little things, like if there's just certain things, like this particular kid like threw a tantrum one day in the waiting room, and I wasn't in the office, but everyone was texting me about it. So I happened to see her the next day, and I sat in the waiting room with her because I'm like, she was still throwing, because then she threw a tantrum with me, and I'm like, listen, we're not going back to my office until this stops. And just so you know, we're not doing anything fun when we get back there either. So we sat in the waiting room probably for like 25 minutes, like not speaking. But let me tell you something, she does not throw tantrums in my office anymore.
Nice.
Now she knows this is not okay.
What makes it difficult about the parents, like involvement? I know that you said they're not doing the exercises at home. Is that the main issue, that they're not participating as they should? Because that's the problem, the behavior that's at home. But if you're not doing your part in helping fix a situation, then what's the purpose of therapy?
Exactly. I think with kids, a lot of times, because if kids are doing fine in school and
Mhm.
they're not having issues with me, but they're only having issues at home, something's going on at home that needs to be fixed. A
Mhm.
lot of times, it's that there's a lack of routine.
Mm.
Um, at school, kids know this time is then their classes start, their classes end, they have lunch, they have recess, they leave. Then
Mhm.
they get home and it's kind of like a free for all. So some kids
Mhm.
need that ongoing
Like
structure.
structure.
Um, some parents either don't want to enforce it, they don't believe in
Care.
it.
They don't want to put that time in.
Yeah. And I always tell parents by the time they get to me, like, listen, if you want your kid to change, it's going to be a lot of work. And I always compare it to like a drug addict. Like when
Mhm.
someone's addicted to drugs and they're coming off the drugs, the withdrawals are going to be hard. They're going to be in pain. They're going to be crying, screaming, whatever. But once they get through it, they're going to start feeling good. They're going to start making changes. So with kids, they're getting away with a lot of stuff now. So if you start enforcing rules, they're going to throw tantrums. It's going to be impossible. But once they get those rules down, it's going to be good. But we just have to get through this little tiny, very rough patch of
Right, because it's
readjusting.
kind of like you got to break it down before you build it up.
Exactly.
So it's basically like what I'm telling you. I know it sucks, and I know you don't want to put the time in, especially when you're a parent of multiple children, or a single parent of one, or parents of one, or whatever. It's hard, especially when you're working, or you're a housewife, or a house husband, or whatever. You're busy all day being an adult and being a parent, and I think the last thing somebody wants to do is to not go home to do these exercises. But this is the thing:
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
matters? Because if you brought him or her to therapy, is because there's obviously an issue that you want resolved.
Hmm.
But how you gonna resolve it if you're not working? What you think, that it's just a kid that gotta put in work? Maybe it's some shit you're doing. You don't know.
Oh, exactly.
He's probably
Exactly.
peeping some shit you're doing, and that is probably the same thing that irks you, that you get mad at. Probably the same thing they're fucking doing, and you don't know why. And I also think, Megan, tell me if I'm wrong. Does this mean that they now have to evaluate themselves, and maybe they don't want to do that?
Oh, for sure. Like, one of my friends, she works with one of the kids, and they have that issue that you just said. Like, the daughter, which is the client, will come in a session, and the dad will come in, and the dad will start acting how he's complaining she's acting. And my friend, that's a therapist, will be like, "How do you want her to change? Like, she's modeling what you're doing. So if you want her to change, you got to change yourself and stop doing what you're doing."
Mm.
And it's hard for them to accept that because a lot of times people just have it in their head like, well, I'm the parent and this is how I want
And I don't get that. Like, I'm not a parent, but I don't get this whole thing. Like, yo, if your kid is right about something, give them some fucking credit.
it. Exactly.
You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? Like, just because you're an adult doesn't mean that you're always right.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We are a whole as adult, and
Mhm.
I'm still wrong. We're
Yeah.
all wrong. You know what I'm saying? You can't assume because you're the parent you're always right. Maybe there's some shit you're doing.
Mhm.
But
I agree.
I'm not a parent. I know that situations like, all I'm saying is, if you are the parent and you're raising someone, and this is a product of you,
Yeah.
then.
Mhm.
Anyway, next one. Um, another one was, you can actually trust them. Trust them. They aren't there to get tea. I know that I'm pretty sure their stories are interesting, Megan, but I don't think you wake up in the morning like, yo, I can't wait for Sarah to tell me what happened. I'm pretty sure you do, but I don't think that's the main goal here. You know what I'm saying?
um yeah, I definitely don't wake up thinking that.
Right?
It's very rare that I even have a client that I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to talk to them next week." The only time honestly I would feel that way is if we set some kind of goal and I was like, I hope they they did it.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't wake up like, because
Oh my
honest,
God, let me go over there.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there are times that like, what they're telling me is very interesting and I'm like,
Mm-hmm,
oh
mm-hmm.
my God. But
But it's not to the point where you're gonna lose sleep over it, or you're gonna be like, "Damn, I wish I could hit her up, so she could tell me what happened with X, Y,
no,
Z." Got
no,
it. Okay,
absolutely not.
okay. You can tell when they're not
I mean, you could say,
being
well,
thorough with
the truth.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, not all of them, but like some of the ones that I've been working for a long time, I can tell. And honestly, like I don't even call them out on it because like some of them, like it's me calling them out on them like omitting some detail or some piece of information, like unless it's going to help their therapy or them progress in life, there's no need for it. But I'll like make a mental note, like, oh, she's lying,
Mm.
like,
So you
but
won't tell them like, or maybe if you could tell they're lying, maybe you kind of just dig a little deeper. My thing is, I'm just trying to get to the point. Like, is it even worth lying to your therapist? You want them to help you.
oh
I'm
yeah,
saying
for
they're not
sure.
here to judge your ass. There's a confidentiality agreement here. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So,
I would say the clients that are it's easier to get away with lying are the ones like that are newer. Like it's probably easier to get away with lying in therapy is if you start with a lie, because
mm,
that's my baseline interpretation of you is lying. But if I'm getting to know, if I'm like working with a client for a long time and I can pick up on things, then I can tell, like, especially obviously like if it's drug use, I can easily like
can
not necessarily if they're like high in session, but
can you tell when someone is exaggerating or trying to paint some picture that they're not, like they're trying to impress you for some reason? You ever get that energy like someone's really just trying
hmm
to,
hmm
for the clout kind of thing?
oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And some of those people I'll dig deep and they'll have like an answer for everything and I'm like,
Just to kind of call them out on the bullshit, like, can you stop it?
yeah.
Can you stop
Yeah.
it? Hello?
Yes. I'm like,
You be trying to give them that face like,
yes. I'm like, I know, like this is not, and even like sometimes
I can't because I get it. I get it. I'm just like, yo, I cannot. Um, you actually have to participate, which I guess it's true. I mean, obviously, how do you expect to get better? Like, have you ever had people come to your office and just not talk? Like,
oh
how do you handle
gosh,
it?
yes, it's awful. It's awful. Um, uh, some of the clients that I have, because of their insurance, they're required to be in therapy. So some of them have been in therapy for like 20 years. So like
Mhm.
they've processed everything. They're just coming to see me for logistics. Those are brutal. Because I'll be like, how's everything? They'll be fine. So then I'm like, how do you feel about the news? We talk about the news. I just try to get us to at least 30 minutes
Yeah,
for
you kind of
now.
just try to just go along and.
Yeah. Um, the other struggle is when some people are just like, I have anxiety, and I'll be like, well, what triggers it? And like they're just not talkative people, and you just
Mm.
really have to like figure
Damn.
out,
See,
yeah, like,
there's an art to that, like getting people to talk, getting people to tell you the real deal, the truth, and all that. There's an art to that. See, that's hard. Like, cause somebody, if I get the vibe that you really don't want to talk, I'm gonna leave you alone.
exactly. And
You
but
know
I
what I
will
mean?
say, I've gotten real.
I'm not gonna sit here like talk to me, please.
I've perfected the art of silence. It used to make me
Hmm.
very uncomfortable, but for some people, I'll just sit there and eventually someone will talk. Um, but now that I'm doing phone therapy, that's really hard because when it's silent, someone thinks someone got disconnected. So then someone's always
Mm.
like, "Wait, are you still there?" And I'm like,
And
"Yeah,
then
I'm
you're like,
here."
yeah, I'm still here. And then you think they said that because that's something to say. You're like, yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, damn it! I thought she lost the call."
Megan be on the phone like, yeah, I'm here. You be eager as hell trying to hear some shit. Like,
What do you gotta
yo,
say?
she was quiet for 20 minutes. Oh, she about to say something.
Yeah. I will say it's way harder to be quiet on the phone.
Okay.
Also because like you're just like trained when you're on the phone with someone to be like talking.
To go, yeah.
So like even if there's like a minute of silence, I'm like, so anyway, what do you got planned for today?
Okay.
So that's made it a little
Isn't
harder.
it harder with COVID because it's like nothing? Yesterday I was on the bed. Today I'm gonna be on the sofa. I'm gonna call it a day. I mean, what you, huh?
It's torture. I'm like, so how was your week? And they're like, it's pretty much the same as last week. I wasn't allowed to leave. And I'm like, okay, cool.
You can't blame them though. That's like,
I know. I know. I can't. Even me. I'm like,
yeah. They ask you what you're doing. I'm like, same thing I was doing yesterday, talking to you from a desk. I mean,
yeah, like, like literally, they're like, no, literally nothing has changed. I'm like, no.
and there's really nothing to share.
Yeah.
Like you could go, we could be talking today, and you could call me tomorrow, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm here cooking. Call me tomorrow. What you doing? Probably cooking. I'm just making mad shit for, you know.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. That's definitely made it harder. It's just like I know I'm gonna reach a point where literally they're gonna be like, I don't even know why you're still calling me because like
We should probably stop
like, I
services
need
for a
to get
couple
paid,
months.
so come up with something.
We should call as needed.
Yeah. Some of them I
PRN.
have told that. Some of them I've said like, listen, like I just check in with them like every
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so
Because I
like
mean,
so good.
at the end of the day, how much are you gonna fake it? Or not that you fake it, but how much are you gonna play with that? Like, there's only so much you could do with
And let me tell you something.
silence.
And it's way easier for clients. Like I called the client on Friday to
Mm-hmm.
check in, and I was gonna try and like get more out of him, and he's like, nope,
Okay.
everyth's been good. And like you could tell he was like ready to hang up. Like they could just hang up on me. It's not like in an office, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not gonna
Cool.
get up and leave.
Yeah.
But like if we're on the phone, they could just be like, all right, well, thanks for calling, bye. And I'm like,
gotta
oh,
go to Target.
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it makes sense. And then I'll probably get off the phone too, like, gotta go again.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm like, I literally on Friday, I was like, where could I have gone with that? Like, nowhere. I couldn't even like. I was just like, so everything's been good. He's like, yep,
But like,
everything's been good.
it's like, you know, that moment when like visitors are trying to leave, but you want to act like you don't want them to leave,
Mm-hmm.
and then they end up staying because you want to pretend you didn't want them to leave, and now you're like, all right, what am I gonna do with that? All right.
You gotta go. Now you're like, great, your time's up. Get out.
There you go. And the other one I had, is it true that you guys probably won't be the first to say hello in public, clients wise?
Oh, client wise, yes. Sometimes I catch myself because I'll like smile and then I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have said anything. But yes.
Is it awkward?
Sometimes, again, my population's way different than I feel like most populations because they'll like see me, like if I'm walking down the street and they see me, they'll be like, Megan, Megan, and then they'll be like, that's my therapist, and I'm just like, hi. So like, I don't.
Yeah, that's me.
That's me. I'm the therapist.
Yo, this is my new favorite face.
Yeah, like
I do that shit all the time. That's it.
So like, but like if otherwise, yeah, it's some clients it's super awkward because like they don't know how to react. I don't know how to react, so I just try to keep it moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely caught myself where I've seen someone and been like, oh my god, hi, and then I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that.
I know. Do you get a lot of clients that confuse your way of being compassionate, understanding,
Yes.
like you like them?
Yes.
Oh my god, how does that how is that for you?
It's super uncomfortable because I'm not good at. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I just try to like smile and nod, and which isn't good. But I've definitely been in those situations, and I've straight up said to one client, I'm like, listen, the only reason you feel this way about me is because I'm probably the first female in your life
They probably
that
gave you
you,
any kind of attention that was compassionate, and now your balls are hard. No,
yes.
that's not the case. You over here got blue balls at therapy. Sit down.
Yeah, because like it reached a point where he's like, like confessing love. I'm like, no, it's not like that. Like,
I don't like you. I'm doing
yes,
my job.
I'm literally, I'm like, listen, you're just not used to this in
Hmm.
relationships with parents or girlfriends. I don't have feelings for you. Like, it's literally my job.
Do you say it like that?
No, I say it
Like nicely, like more professional, more
yeah,
like low
I'm like,
key.
like, listen, you're a nice person, but like, I don't have feelings for you. You're just really vulnerable, and you think that my compassion and empathy is like feelings, and you probably have feelings for me because you're receiving that and you're not used to it, but it's not like that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So
I
I
have
say,
a question, and it's off top. Well, it's not off topic. As a female therapist, do you find that men are more intimidated when they find out you're a therapist?
yes. I always
Oh,
get
they feel like you're
the
reading everything that they do.
yeah, and they're like, "Are you
Are
diagnosing
you reading
me?"
everything that they do? You are, aren't you?
No, here's the thing that I always tell them. I'm analyzing myself more. I'm like, how does my hair look? Did I say something funny?
Mm.
I mean, if they're obviously someone that should be analyzed, then I'll analyze them. But I think anyone probably would. But they're, everyone's always like, you're diagnosing me, and I'm like, I need way more information to diagnose a person than like
Mm.
what you do for fun.
Right. So like you're sitting there thinking that you're gonna read me in one date when in reality, first of all, I'm
I
not
need
even
like
really trying to read you.
yeah,
I'm trying to be on a date.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you think I'm reading you makes me feel like you're gonna fabricate shit because you want to paint a picture because you don't like the picture you think
hmm.
I'm painting.
And then there's times I've been like, this person really needs to see somebody.
It's either I'm not your goddamn therapist or you need help.
Yeah, here's my card.
Do you guys ever get caught up not knowing what to say?
Oh, for sure, for
Mm.
sure.
How do you guys handle that? Do you feel like fail or like how do you go from there? Like,
it depends on the situation. I sometimes, depending on the person, will just be honest and be
mm,
like, I really don't even know what to say.
mm,
Um,
mm,
but a lot of times, like, I just hope for the best and hope something
mm.
that comes out makes sense for the
Okay.
situation. But yeah, I've definitely been in those situations where whether they said something that was like super intense, or you know we're just done for the day,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't even know how to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
um and in those situations I'd probably be like, I'm not sure how to answer that or help you with that. Let me do some
Okay.
research or get you a book.
Are there any others that I didn't mention that you low key want us to know about therapists that you really want people to know, but you really can't say?
Ooh, I think I would just want people to know
Yes.
that we're human.
Mm.
I think that sometimes people don't realize that, not that the people think we're robots, but like, we have feelings too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that sometimes, like maybe more for the people who don't like therapy or aren't interested in therapy, like you're like talking to another human.
Mm.
It's not going to be perfect. We are going to make mistakes. We aren't going to say the right things. Like sometimes, like I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or maybe they came off too mean, or maybe I'm pushing them away. Um, but like
You're
sometimes, like,
human too.
yeah, and like
Okay.
sometimes, like maybe I accidentally did say something that might push somebody away, or like I veered off the therapy trail and maybe told someone advice that I should
Okay.
have let them get to.
Okay. 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 So it's just basically saying like, although we're therapists, we're human. You
Hmm.
know, shit happens, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's
Exactly.
okay. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, that's not bad. Okay. Um, and now I just wanted to get into just some. We're obviously dealing with COVID.
Yeah.
It's important that people right now more than ever, especially with the situation that we're in, especially if you don't have a job, because I feel like the good thing about having job, other than the economic plus, is that they at least have something to report to. They have somewhere to go in a sense.
Hmm.
But when you literally like, there's people right now that can't even touch their anything because they're not employed. So then what happens? What do you do? And then you get in your head, and then you have family situations. And right now things may be difficult in your house. How do you manage that? How do you deal with that? How do you So I just wanted to see as like non-therapy therapist, first of all, just like a realistic view of the situation, and maybe some tips and ideas on how to manage what can help if right now you can't access a therapist, what you can do to help yourself, and if you can,
Hmm.
you know, what to do, how to be honest, where you can go. And I would love for you to mention the talk space that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
We can mention that again to end it, just so people know where to go, if there's like a specific name, or is there any specific things that they have to do, just, you know,
Hmm.
put it out there. So yeah, so some COVID self-help tips, you know, Corona won't win guidelines.
So
Anything?
first, the realistic part is that it's scary.
Okay.
Like there's, like anyone can get it. Most likely, we're all gonna get it at some point. We're stuck inside.
Mhm,
There's very We're very limited in the things we can do.
mhm,
So for people to go stir crazy and get cabin fever, it's gonna happen. So that's like the realistic part of it, is that it's tough. It really is. Um, like you said, I feel for my clients, the biggest thing I tried to tell them is to keep a routine. Um, Even if they're not able to work or anything, is to try to wake up at the same time, try to shower, like just try to like keep something scheduled, even with kids in the house, because sometimes some of the clients with kids at home, like that's what they're struggling with. Like they're doing school at like all odd hours. So I'll like be like, listen, why can't you just make it like they're in school? Like get up at a certain time, start the schoolwork at a certain time, end it, have lunch at a certain time. That way everybody has an idea of what the day would entail.
mhm. Or what to expect. They'll have
Yeah.
something to look forward to. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And they have like a structure, like you said. Um,
Because
okay.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that what people are struggling with is that their routine was literally like ripped out from underneath them. Like you said, people are no longer getting up, showering, going to work, coming home, like talking about their day. Like they're just like waking up and turning on Netflix.
So just
And
to have something, I feel like what you're saying is to just have, it's important to have something to look forward to. And
yeah,
if you don't, create something.
yes.
So you just have something to do other than the basic chill out, Netflix, TV, eat, or whatever.
Hmm.
Just have something to push you to get up.
Yes.
Okay.
But then we get into a sticky situation
Mhm.
because I know that there's a lot of people out there trying, like there's been some things floating around that like because everyone has all this free time, they should be like learning a new language
Mhm.
or starting some new hobby or
Right,
becoming a
right.
master chef. That now puts a new pressure on people because they're like, I have all this time. I should be like making all these things and baking every day. And
Mhm.
it's okay. Like, I think that's hard for some people to understand. Like, it's okay to not be super ambitious and like wake up and like do all these things. Like,
Right.
it's not for anybody. I kind of feel like the person that is learning the new language right now would learn a new language whether we were in quarantine or
Mm,
not. Like it's just your personality. Like
okay.
some people aren't interested in that. So I think like finding something, I think what's important is finding something to do inside that you enjoy and isn't going to overwhelm you.
Okay. So it's basically like, don't try to overcompensate for the lack of work with this monstrous ass projects.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. We don't know how long it's gonna last. And it could end sooner than we expected, which I think is fucking stupid, by the way, but let's not get into that. Or it might last a little longer. This is the issue. You're trying to start a really big project with undetermined time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an issue. You know what I'm saying? I feel like low key, I don't want to, for lack of a better expression, I kind of got lucky because I started working on this podcast last year. You know what I'm saying? I just premiered it this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had a head start to the situation. But I feel like, I think it's amazing that people still have some kind of ambition.
Yeah.
I think it's great. But I didn't think about it that way. That's a really good point. I think by people trying to accomplish something else, because like, well, now I got all this time. Now I got to do this. But yeah, but that doesn't mean that you got to do it all tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
right now, I think it's a perfect time to create, but it's not, I'm not saying, I know you want to create and put it on TV because everyone's home. But what I'm saying is like, when I created the podcast, Megan, me and Michael didn't put it together and then that was it. Like it took a lot of like paper and pen
Mm-hmm.
away from the camera, away from the mic. It was a lot of it. A lot of this was off the record, you know what I'm saying? And then we put it out. I just think that people think that they have to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you just gotta work at it. You
Mm-hmm.
can deliver later. Because this is the thing. Remember, we're all gonna go back to work and whatever. I believe we're gonna come out of this. And we're all gonna go back to whether it's a new life or not, we're gonna go back.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do then? Because you're starting this big ass fucking project because you got all this time. And then you didn't finish it because you put mad pressure. Now what you're gonna do when you go back to some kind of life?
Yeah.
So I didn't think about that part. That was a good one. Okay.
I also think it's important to stay in touch with friends and family. I
Mm-hmm.
know like visiting isn't very available to most people, but like a lot of people are doing the whole like happy hour game
Mm-hmm.
sessions. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy though. I also think it's good because I feel like if this when we get out of this, if everyone stays so connected,
Mm-hmm.
like I've never talked to my family so much in my life. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
shouldn't
No, I
say
know what you mean. Like as
as an
frequently,
adult.
as frequently, and for extended periods of time.
And it's just crazy because like it's not like any new technology has come out. We are all using things that were always available, and now because we don't have things to do, we are all available to each other.
Right.
So I hope that when we're out of this, something like that, like people just are able to stay connected with each other because
And you know what? And even because the thing is, let's remember we don't have a lot of free time when the hustle comes back. So even if you can't go out, why can't we still use these apps to Zoom? You know what I'm saying? What if
yeah.
it's raining outside? That doesn't mean we can't have champagne or wine. Let's get together and do it.
Mhm.
Just because we're back to work doesn't mean we can't FaceTime. That doesn't mean we can't have a group video chat.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? Because remember, people are still parents and stuff, and they haven't been able to go out. And I'm pretty sure you guys have actually been enjoying your little get-togethers, you know, at the comfort of your own home. I'm not saying don't go out. I think it's gonna be go out frenzy. I think people are gonna go crazy
I
going
agree.
out.
I
Y'all
agree.
could go. Me, China, in a few weeks. I'm okay. I'm a FaceTime group, all that while y'all at the club. All right, you got my number. Text me, call me, pero yo
FaceTime
en
from the club.
discoteca. After this, no, mi amor, I'm gonna be home for a while. Sorry.
But
Anyway, go on.
so yes, I definitely think like I hope after this, like, and I also hope that like people like maybe don't put so much pressure on like making plans, going out with people. Like I think that has also helped what's connected the friendships that maybe weren't as close at one point because no one's like has pressure on a Saturday night to be like, oh my God, we gotta go out, we gotta go do this, we gotta do that. Like Saturday night now, everyone's like, well, we got nothing to do, so
Call the homies.
yeah. So
And it's
hopefully,
cool, you know, like
yeah.
you're saving mad money. You're probably spending the money on liquor.
And you're still saving money.
And it's, you know,
Not a bar.
that's it. Okay. Good stuff.
So my last like tip, I guess, is as which everyone's like it's floating around, is to just like avoid social media and the news. Like if it's causing someone anxiety, like if it's already causing someone a lot of stress, I always tell my clients, like, are you on Facebook a lot? And if they're like, yes, I'm like, okay, we gotta limit it because a lot of stuff that's being shared on Facebook isn't even true.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like that's a big thing, like, and which is hard again because it's like it might be someone's only coping skill is to be on social media.
Okay. But sometimes you got to give it a break.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And I agree. And the reason I agree is because, you know, I have family members, like my mom will call me and she's like, mira mi hija la noticia. Like she'll start telling me stuff. And I'm just like, mommy, I'm watching the news. But like, when I talk to her, like I want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't want her so invested in the news and I don't want to be so invested in the news. I do want us to be aware, but
Yes,
I just feel like after a while, it's like draining.
it is because
And like
at this point it's the
one
same
minute you
thing.
got a post from, you got a New York Post. Next minute you got something from Baller Alert. Even though I really enjoy Baller Alert, I'm not gonna lie. But like, you know, that there's just you're being bombarded to the point where you're being clouded, and now you're just making questionable ass decisions, or you're having anxiety when you don't really need to have it. You become super careless when you need to be careful. Megan, this was a great episode, Megan. I feel like we talked about so much, and I feel like there's so much
Yeah.
left. But Megan, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to talk to me
Yeah, thanks for
and getting
having me.
into non-therapy therapy, telling me what you really think or what we should really be doing, or just it's just refreshing to hear from medical personnel, like, you know, a therapist perspective on certain things. And I think that we may have kind of opened eyes a little bit. I wanted to also just show how easy it is to get the help and the importance it is in getting the help, especially during these times. And to end it, again, thank you, Megan. I love you dearly.
I love you too.
But just to end it, just let us know one more time about the talk space, just how they can sign up, where they can find it, the website, the process, how it works, just so people just have something else in case you don't want to see someone in person. Right now it's really tough, especially with the situation. So this would just be, you know, if you want to just talk about it real quick. I didn't know that. That's great.
So it's talkspace.com. There's also betterhelp.com, which is very similar. Um, and it's all online, phone, video chat. A lot of therapists actually right now, because of the situation, are doing most of their sessions online. Psychologytoday.com is a good place to go to find therapists because that's where most of them post their little profiles and how to get in touch with them. So if anyone's looking for a therapist, I recommend going to Psychology Today. Obviously contacting your insurance company if you have insurance. I have a link for my specific talk space that I can send you.
Please. I
So
will add it to my page. I'll add it. So if you guys are interested, please feel free to look into it.
you can talk to me.
Yeah. Hello. Did you guys have fun while listening to me talk to Megan? Hello. You know?
So those are like the basics. I also recommend always to clients because obviously one of the things, like when we're in person therapy and clients say they're depressed or anxious, I always recommend like finding a hobby. And right now it's hard to find something. So many places are doing things virtually, like the Metropolitan Museum of Art has virtual tours right now. Aquariums have virtual tours. Zoos have cameras. Um, I found some guy on Instagram in England that does beer tastings, like live beer tastings. So if people are into that, so there's just like a lot of opportunities for people to find their interest that people that is virtual. Paint and sips. I've found paint and sips that are virtual. Like you just have to like find
That's
your
really
own
fun. I was actually really interested in that.
yeah, so like they're virtual. There's just a trivia nights I saw were virtual. So like there's just like a lot of things that you can still do online.
Mm-hmm.
So you just gotta find what you were interested in before this and see if it's available online now.
All right. And that's that. So remember, Talkspace, Better Health, Psychology Today. Check out my page on Late Night with Linda and on Instagram. And even on YouTube, when the episode comes out, I'll have the link down there as well. And if you guys have any questions for Megan, hello, I'm going to add her page on there or send them to me, late night with Linda Rose at gmail.com. But I'll put all that information later. And that was it, Megan. Yes, I had so much fun, girl.
Oh.
That's the end for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Megan, thank you so much for your time. It was a really good conversation. I feel like we provided so much information. Thank you so much. And I had such a good time, and I'll see you soon. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you for giving me your time and attention as always. I hope that that you guys are okay, that you're holding up okay. I'm still praying for everybody. Remember, you're not alone. So if you do need some kind of help at all, there is help out there. And don't be afraid to call your friends and family. I'm pretty sure they would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you, of course. Remember to be kind on purpose. Take care of each other. Be good to each other. Don't be an asshole. And I hope you guys had an amazing day. And I hope that tomorrow's even better. Until then.